Some are wondering what else might be going on today on December 23rd, 2021, Thursday. And that is, I've already had this car for 2 years. Yes, my Scarlet Red 2019 Hyundai Sonata-SE. Well, it was technically on the 20th of December. Well, time just didn't permit, but I have time now. So, just a few days after the fact. But here it is, 2 years later. Registering 72,375 miles. Now, I was at exactly 72,000 on the night of December 20th, which again is the yearly cycle for this car. Now, on December 20th, 2020, I was at 35,000 miles. So this car was driven in 1 year a total of 37,000 miles. This is the most I have driven any car I ever owned in 1 year. And since we're inside the car, one nifty little thing I want to show is, and now I know I showed my dash cam last time around. One nifty little thing I want to show is what I have done to my Garmin. Well, I had the custom shop do it. So this is hardwired to the car. They used a cigarette lighter adapter underneath the dash. It's fused and everything, no worries. I was expecting to punch a hole in the dash and, you know, maybe the wire would like come from over here or something. Nope, they're able to route it under the dash and up this piece of weather stripping right here. And the cool thing about that is if I ever decide to trade this car in, although I doubt I ever would, you know, this is, you know, nothing has been compromised. So that was a good idea. Nice way they installed it, and I really like it. And now I can have my GPS without having to take up my cigarette lighter, so I can keep my phone plugged in more often. I think I got my little cup phone here. I even special ordered this from WeatherTech about a year ago. Red anodized knobs, the aluminum ones, to match the car. Well, that's all I really got to show inside. So back to the outside. Not a whole lot has changed. You know, I bought this car because I wanted for once buy some I didn't want to have to mess with. And I know I elaborated this on previous videos about the car. That's why I bit the bullet and paid the few extra grand for this car. And it has worked out so far. The only notable issue that I really had were the brake rotors. Now, the stock Kia Hyundai brake rotors absolutely suck, or at least the ones in the base models do. The higher end Sonatas, especially the performance ones, they actually use bigger rotors, and they are made, I believe, in Korea, whereas the base model, like the one I have, they're actually made in China. They're made of the same recycled Chinese steel that you can buy from the box stores. That's the only upgrade I had to make, and nothing too crazy there, nothing drilled and slotted. It's actually what I did. Now, the brake pads are good. I actually just deglazed them with some 400 grit. So the only notable weak link this car had, I was able to fix myself at a very reasonable price. The only real criticism I have of this car is I feel it could be higher off the ground. The back especially sags too easily, and the paint chips very, very easily. My guy at Gotham Auto Works tells me that Kias and Hyundais are notorious for having very soft paint. So the couple of things that have wrong with this car are things that really are not going to affect the reliability and the drivability. Considering that this thing has seen 72,000 miles in just 2 years, service logs are pretty slim, or at least I should say, specifically speaking, repairs. Obviously, I'm going to do a lot of maintenance, keep that oil change, because as I pointed out in the past, I don't abuse my cars, but I know I ask a lot out of them. And this car has held up to the task, and like my Ram, I praise this car for being the vehicle that both my Cobalt and my Corolla failed to be. The only other repair I had to make besides the brake rotors, an axle shaft one. I actually had the dealer do it, but you know, I was in some pretty heavy snow, so that was probably not the car's fault. And you know what? I'm just trying to say very little about that, but hey, I think I'll take a $400 axle shaft or a $4,000 transmission. So at least when something broke, the cheaper part broke. You know, the cheaper part of it broke. So no complaints. This is what I love so much about this car. You know, it's just when something did go wrong, at least it picked a better time to go wrong, and at least the cheaper part decided to break on it. Got to give the car props for that. So that about concludes it. Now, many say, why didn't I get the Subaru Forester? Well, my situation didn't really allow for, at least not my financial situation. And I always love pointing out about Hyundai, because that's how good Hyundai's been to me and my brother. The situation I was in was, I was in the market for a car when I didn't really want to be in the market for a car. And Hyundai really helped me out. The other reason I'm still glad I got this car is as I'm going to rack up the miles on this car very quickly, it's still a solid enough car that I can keep it as a backup, you know, semi-retire it, keep it as a backup for myself, for the family, what have you. Maybe next time I'll get the Subaru Forester, which has the all-wheel drive system, which is going to have the higher ground clearance. But this car, it has a regular transmission, none of that CVT nonsense, and it's just powering 2 wheels. And in this particular car, it's a little 4-cylinder inside a big V6 engine bay, so hell, I could probably put the motor or the transmission in it myself if need be, making the ownership of this car even cheaper. Again, that element of simplicity, you just don't have that with the Forester. That's pretty much it. That's all I've got to say for now. This car's been staying solid, and I did order myself a headrest stand, not a stand, a mount for the camera. Maybe start doing some ride-along videos, so looking forward to that. Hope this is enjoyable, and I believe this is a 7th generation Sonata, so maybe someone out there, you know, is already a couple of years old, you want to buy it certified pre-owned, buy it secondhand. Yeah, hopefully this review is helpful. You know, this is the good experience I've had, and again, this thing saw 72,000 miles in just 2 years, so if you're more local and whatnot, this thing will definitely hold up for you. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Any and all input is greatly appreciated, and have a good Christmas.